Body of Clatsop County, all county service districts for which this body so acts, and as the Clatsop County Local Contract Review Board is now meeting in regular session. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I want to welcome everybody here this evening. Clerk of the Board, can we have the roll call, please?
Chair Cleland.
Here.
Vice Chair Bang. Here. Commissioner Wakua.
Here.
Commissioner Webb. Here. Commissioner Thompson.
And Commissioner Thompson is excused. All right, we'll move on to the agenda approval, and we actually have an amended agenda. We're adding item 8A, the intergovernmental grant agreement with OHCS, statewide shelter program funding, to the agenda. And do we have a motion?
I move to approve amended agenda.
Moved and seconded to approve the amended agenda. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. First item is the proclamation, the Great Shakeout proclamation, and Jen Munson, our Clatsop County Emergency Management Community Engagement Coordinator, is here.
Thank you
Welcome.
so much. Thank you so much for having me, and I will be joined momentarily by Laura Gable, if she hasn't jumped on already, with Oregon Department of Geology and Mineral Industries. I should wish you a happy pumpkin spiced shakeout season, and I am here, of course, to remind us all that Thursday, October 16th at 10:16 a.m., Clatsop County will join millions worldwide in the Great Shakeout. There's a lot to look forward to. This is the world's largest earthquake drill. Don't miss out. Don't have FOMO. Everyone at home, work, school, or out in the community is encouraged to practice drop, cover, and hold on, the recommended safety action during an earthquake. This drill also marks the conclusion of our preparedness campaign, and at the same time, it's very exciting because we'll conduct a Clatsop alert test at that very same time. This is part of our routine maintenance to make sure that alert systems meet citizen needs. Preparedness saves lives, as you all know. A few minutes of practice now can make a big difference when a real quake strikes. And now, hopefully, to speak more about her partnership and efforts in Clatsop County, please welcome Laura Gable, coastal geologist with the Oregon Department of Geology and Mineral Industries. Dogami plays a key role in mapping earthquake risks here in Clatsop County, supporting community resilience and helping all Oregonians better understand our geologic hazards. Hi, Laura.
Welcome,
Hi.
Laura.
Thank you very much. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can you see me? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me today. I really appreciate the opportunity. I'm honored to have the opportunity to highlight some of the great work that we at Dogami have done in direct collaboration with your county and your cities over the years to build resilience against the next Cascadia earthquake and tsunami. The majority of my work has focused on tsunami preparedness. However, that cannot be separated from earthquake preparedness for those of us on the coast. We cannot predict when the next earthquake and tsunami will happen, but we know when it does, the earth will shake for several minutes and a tsunami will be generated 70 miles offshore of Clatsop County, reaching your beaches in about 20 to 25 minutes. So the highlight of our work to prepare Clatsop County, it's a long list. We've been doing work in the county for a long, long time, working with your emergency managers and planners and community development directors. But a quick hit of the highlights includes a seismic safety survey of about 40 critical facilities. This was a part of a statewide seismic needs assessment back in 2006, 2007. We've also developed numerous tsunami evacuation maps for every community in the county, both along the open coast and the Columbia River, from our original evacuation maps back around 2010 to newer Beat the Wave maps that provide additional information on routing and travel speeds. We have an online evacuation map viewer and a phone app to meet the people where they're at, to get them the information they need to begin to prepare. We've secured funding for a variety of tsunami wayfinding signs over the years for the county, from thermoplastic blue lines to You Are Here evacuation signs at every beach access point, including throughout Fort Stevens State Park. We also have worked with ODOT to locate and pay for all of the entering and leaving tsunami signs on Highway 101. I've performed tsunami evacuation analyses in every coastal community in the county, from Arch Cape and Falcon Cove in the south up to Astoria and inland all the way to Westport. More recently, I undertook a very detailed evacuation analysis looking at vulnerabilities of Seaside and Cannon Beach and their reliance on bridges and the need for potentially vertical evacuation structures. And this work resulted in Seaside reversing years of thinking about the importance of getting all of the bridges seismically retrofitted. I've also I've also spoken at many emergency groups. I've worked with Arch Cape and Falcon Cove Emergency Preparedness. I've worked very closely with Cannon Beach and Seaside's emergency managers, as well as Jen and everyone at Clatsop County Emergency Management on various outreach events, talking with Oregon Emergency Management, doing tsunami road shows, and yeah. And also lastly, we also undertook very specific tsunami modeling in the Columbia River to better understand what you all can expect from a local or a distant tsunami for your Columbia River communities. So that's a very brief list of the work we've been doing. And we really appreciate the collaboration.
Well, great work, important work, and thank you very much, Laura Gable, Oregon Department of Geology and Mineral Industries, and geologist. And thank you, Jen. Thank you. Of course, our Clatsop County Emergency Management Community Engagement Coordinator.
Thank you. Happy
Appreciate the
shakeout.
presentation. I know that us at the hospital will be participating in the shakeout, and I encourage others in their businesses and home to do the same. All right, do we have a motion?
I move to approve the resolution and order proclaiming October 16th, 2025 to be the Great Shakeout Day and authorize the chair to read and then sign the proclamation.
I second.
Moved and seconded to approve the resolution and order proclaiming October 16th, 2025 to be Great Shakeout Day and authorize the chair to read then sign the proclamation. All those in favor signify with an aye.
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 All those opposed? And I want to note that Commissioner Thompson has joined us. Welcome, Commissioner Thompson.
Thank you, sir.
In the matter of proclaiming October 16th, 2025 to be the Great Shakeout Day in Clatsop County. Whereas the proximity of Clatsop County's coastline to the offshore Cascadia subduction zone makes it vulnerable to local earthquakes and tsunamis. And whereas Clatsop County has no greater responsibility than ensuring the safety of its citizens and all those who visit our county. And whereas Clatsop County Emergency Management partners with federal, state, local, tribal, territorial, private, and volunteer agencies to educate individuals on local hazards and how to prepare for them. And whereas earthquake safety is a serious concern with our entire county at risk to seismic shaking and tsunami hazards. And whereas the best way to survive a natural disaster is to develop a preparedness plan for one's home, school, business, and family. And whereas being self-sufficient for at least 2 weeks after a natural disaster, as well as knowledge about what to do when disasters occur, is vital. All citizens, businesses, and governmental agencies are encouraged to participate in earthquake drills where they practice drop, cover, and hold on Great Shakeout Day. Now, therefore, be it hereby resolved that the Clatsop County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaims October 16th, 2025 to be the Great Shakeout Day in Clatsop County, and we encourage all citizens to join in this observance by increasing their earthquake resilience and working toward creating a more prepared society. Dated this 8th day of October, 2025, Clatsop County Board of Commissioners. Thank you very much, Laura, for being here. Appreciate it, and thank you, Jen. Next is business from the public. It's an opportunity for anyone to give a 2-minute presentation about any item on the agenda or any item of topic or any topic of county concern that is not on the agenda. Clerk of the Board, are there any members of the public signed up to speak remotely?
No, they're not.
All right. Do we have anyone that signed up to speak in person this evening?
No, we do not.
Anyone that's in the audience that would like to speak? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on and go to the consent calendar. Any questions on the consent calendar? Are you ready for a motion?
I move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar as presented. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Commissioner reports. We'll start with Commissioner Thompson.
Okay, here we go. I have been attending AOC district meetings all over Oregon. I just finished with the one in Multnomah County, but I have been to Newport. I virtualed into Bandon. Then I went up with LCDC to go to Chiloquin and Klamath Falls. And then I went to Enterprise, and then to Prineville, and then to the Dalles, and then to McMinnville, and then to Portland today. And I have a bunch of notes. It's extremely interesting to be all over the state, or over most of the state, and to hear what people had to say. There are a lot of concerns. I hear commissioners and legislators and partners all over Oregon talking about the need to cooperate and collaborate. That's my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Webb?
Okay. Yes, well, I've traveled a lot of miles in the last couple of weeks. I wish that more commissioners had been there at the Coastal Caucus, which David Gomberg puts together almost every year, and it's always a very, very good assemblage. There are people from the state. There are many county employees who attend the Coastal Caucus, and in some respects, I think it's particularly helpful to them because they get to hear about what's going on in other counties, not from a political standpoint, but from a programmatic standpoint. And this one was just loaded. It turns out that we have that the city of the port of Coos Bay, has an incredible project going through grants that they have received and other money that they have raised, and they are planning on becoming a world-class container port. And I think for those of us who don't have such aspirations for our local ports, it's pretty encouraging, and I will continue to keep you all. Of course, one of the things, maybe this is my East Coast background, but one of the things that troubles all of us on the ports, on our ocean ports, is our rail system is virtually non-existent. Well, it's non-existent here, that's for sure. But Coos Bay has gotten the money and a promise from the feds to fund better rail going to Coos Bay, because for a container port, the handoff to trucks is important, but our interstate highway system is such that it just isn't strong enough. As anybody who wants to have lunch in downtown Astoria knows, there are an awful lot of things that we wish were on rail that aren't. And so it's a very, very interesting. We also had a wonderful, there were a number of people from AOC there. Gina was there. It's a great collaboration. It really is. Then last week, I was lucky enough to come home in time for one of our specialty court graduations. This was the mental health graduation. And I love those. I try to go to all of them. They're so inspiring because they are so wonderful to see people who have had to face our criminal justice system, but are so well taken care of once they do that. I think that's the thing with these, that there are always 10 or 15 staff people from different, from CBH, from the sheriff's department, usually from local law enforcement as well, and it's so inspiring to have somebody. The ACE graduate was 490 days sober. I'm very proud of it, and so I always get the opportunity tell them all that they're great citizens. So one of the things, however, that I was really impressed with, it's the first time I've been in the courthouse since the new back entrance. And boy, they've done a really, really good job with not only, I mean, you know, it's the basement of the building. I mean, it was a totally random, but what am I trying to say? It was unfinished. And they've devised a wonderful system for bringing people in, for getting people. There were a lot of people in court that day, and the flow was very, very efficient and very very easy, and it was really very, very impressive. I think we can be very proud of the investment we've made in basically changing, you know, totally changing the access and being much safer. I've been walking in and out of courthouses my whole life as a professional person in local government. Never been, I was arrested once actually, but no.
So, do we have time for this?
No. Well, or you'd owe me dinner.
Oh, okay.
It was at an anti-war rally in Washington, D.C. in 1968. And it is a great story, actually. Okay, so very proud of our gorgeous, wonderful, old historic building being retrofitted in a really cool, classy way. Okay, finally then, over the weekend, I was able to celebrate with Crest its 50th anniversary. And they put on a wonderful kind of a double, I'm assuming everybody got an invitation to it. Am I wrong?
I think I got one.
Really? Oh, gosh, I'm sorry.
I didn't see one.
Oh, okay. Well, it was, they put on something very wonderful. They did kind of they did a tour of South Tongue Point, which has been as you know, a Crest project for many, many years. And then they came back to the Barbie Center and had a party. And it was very high on kids. They had, was the group of kids. Can you help me out with where the kids were from? Okay. But it was fun. It was a wonderful history. It was people came from all over. One of their former employees came from Hawaii. And they have many, many former employees. It was very cool to hear how proud people had been to be Crest employees and moved on to do wonderful work in other places. And there was a lot of information there. A couple of things I think I'm going to ask them to bring to show you all. Maps, wonderful maps of current, ongoing projects the Crest is involved in. So it was pretty exciting. So that's my thing. Yeah. I'm hitting the road again next week, so.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Webb. We'll add the anti-war protest arrest as an agenda item next week.
Oh, let's do that. That's good. Let's do that.
Commissioner Banks?
I was able to attend the Classic Working Watersheds Leadership Tour here locally. We toured Fern Hill, Holly Farm, and it is impressive the amount of product that they truck in and then push back out in a finished Christmas wreath type finished product. And it smelled like Christmas. I was ready to skip Halloween before I left the Holly Farm. But it was neat to listen to the partnerships that they've created with our local landowners in regards to when their coolers are empty. They make them available for Hampton to then store their seedlings. And so it's kind of just a beneficial use. Otherwise, we would have to be trucking them in refrigerators in order to keep the seedlings viable for replanting. So it's just neat to see that the industry is working together to make their lives easier and streamline things. We moved then to Bornstein's, and that was a really enjoyable tour. Listened to the struggles of what the seafood industry is facing, and was pretty fascinated that their water has to actually be cleaner than the city water before it re-enters the Columbia. And the process that it goes through is also a little concerning because of the chemical that they have to utilize in order to capture the blood and the fat before releasing it into the Columbia. So, but it was a really fun conversation to have because I always like learning new things. And let's just say they can fillet fish very quickly. I would probably lose some fingers. Anyhow, we moved from there to Fish Hawk Distillery for lunch and discussed more regarding the fishing industry with Mr. Fick, and then pivoted to the Nuveen property to an active logging site. And so it was just an overall really enjoyable day and good people and good conversation. And just, it's nice seeing the different sides of our economics in our community that aren't so front-facing, such as our small businesses on Main Street. And from there, it's just been business as usual, talking to people. I would say the FEMA buyout has been high on my list of getting people to input public comment, and I have successfully at least 25 people to input public comment. But it was fascinating with talking to people regarding it because many still feel like it's just an insurance issue. They don't understand that it's more than just an insurance issue, that it is an economic and a building issue. And so hopefully we see the light at some point in that regard.
Yeah. No, thank you, Commissioner Banks. And yeah, the Working Watershed Tour is such a good one, and you hope that people that you get to be exposed to it a lot, but a lot of folks don't. So we hope to get more people to kind of go see what, you know, is happening within well, I mean, it's just, it is just fascinating to see what's happening within our forests and what's people coming, and filleting fish it is amazing to watch someone that really knows what they're doing, be able to fillet a fish.
We should not give
Yeah.
any knives. It's not safe.
Commissioner Wakua.
Yes, so last week I was part of my first Public Safety Coordinating Council, and I unfortunately wasn't able to make it in person, so I did attend remote, which I think was a little bit of a disservice on trying to meet people for the first time as the owl skips around and you're trying to put names with faces and voices at the same time. I think we were missing a few people in the meeting. I didn't see the sheriff there, and I know there was a couple other names that were probably supposed to be there that I didn't see on the agenda. But what was reported on was that the Department of Corrections basically is having a decrease in money. The grants are kind of disappearing, and I mean that's happening due to state funding and whatnot. And so unfortunately, legislature is just not giving enough money and funds, and so there are some kind of like two-stage plans as far as working in a grant, but also then possibly just seeing like the money's going to depend on the number of people in jail and things like that. And so they're facing a lot of the same issues that I think we're seeing across like the board in the county. Lisa Schuler presented on the overdose and surveillance response plan, which was presented to our board, I think like 2-3 weeks ago, whatever it was. And so we got a good presentation on that, and she just pretty much dives into how the data helps with determine their current trends of overdoses within the county, and then they come up with action plans accordingly. The other business disclosed was that we're losing our defense attorney. That defense attorney took a new position, so and then other than that, I presented briefly on the TLT rate increase, and just as that funds hopefully will help go back into public safety as on the backside of it.
Oh, that's great.
Relatively light.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Wakua. I'm glad you were able to kind of give them, you know, the update on the TLT as well, because that is so important. And I'll just report out the Northwest Oregon Housing Authority met last Thursday, and it was a 2.5-hour meeting. And, you know, I've often reported out how there's this push and pull kind of with the development side and with the property management side, and we spent a lot of time kind of going back and forth. But this was an opportunity really to get a little bit more detail about why they're not renting units faster than people think they should. And it was good actually to hear directly from the staff saying that, of 58 people will apply for a unit and only 4 will qualify ultimately. And then they'll have to show the unit and then something will happen, and it falls through. So there's a lot of time spent on trying to qualify people and trying to actually then bring them to the unit to make sure that that it's a good fit. And then there's also a lot of units that need repair and maintenance, and that doesn't happen overnight. So there's just a lot of work that goes into what they're trying to do, and it's not just flipping a switch and being able to stick someone into a unit as fast as you'd like. And then also the development side, you need to be able to grow capacity and have more units in every county. And anytime you have Clatsop County, Tillamook County, Columbia County, it's a pretty big agency, and trying to get everybody on the same page is always challenging. And after the meeting, we got an opportunity to meet with Andy, who is the executive director of NOAA, and county manager and I met with them. I really wanted to give him our support because he's got a tough job. He's being pulled a lot of different directions, and he's having to do a lot of the really granular work that hopefully, as he gets these systems in place and gets the right people into positions, he won't have to be dealing with the day-to-day things. He can be focused on more of the big picture and the visioning for where NOAA goes. We did elect David Ozer as our chair again for 2026. And all in all, I appreciated the meeting and the meeting with Andy because, he's also doing the agendas. We've often said we'd like to get the agendas a week in advance. We'd like to have them posted on the website in advance. And he's always just kind of hustling to try to get it done. And he's doing it all himself while he's trying to do all these other things. So he really needs to get a few more bodies there to give him some assistance because it's only fair to everybody to have the agendas in plenty of time that people can ask their questions and react, and there's not so many surprises during a meeting. So anyway, it was good to have that discussion with him. And then I went to the Fair Board meeting last night. They did agree to the MOU with the county to pursue the scope of work for the strategic plan, which I think is a really good thing, and I think will provide them the tools to go forward and look towards the future. We had a tense meeting with them about 2 weeks ago. It was, there's a lot of baggage and there's a lot of, I would say, almost hostility towards, what's going on that board. And it showcased itself a little bit last night as well. But I think as we get into the strategic plan and everybody can kind of get focused around a goal here and get some input from people outside the board, I think it will be very helpful. And I think there were a lot of good things. Kyle did a great job running the meeting last night. I guess you weren't running the meeting, but you were speaking the most out of anybody. Just going through there's a lot going on at the fair. They've got a big event next month. You're trying to select your artists for the fair next year. So there's just a lot of moving pieces, and he needs cooperation from everybody on the board to be able to do that. And then they're also all going to a convention this month as well. Is it this month? Yeah, next week. Yeah. So anyway, I was glad to be able to go there and to kind of listen, and we want to be able to provide them the support so they can be successful as a board. And I think it's good to air out a lot of these things, both in the work session last meeting and then last night too. Kyle provided the opportunity for them to have open discussion amongst themselves, and I think that's a good positive way to move forward, and I think they will. That's all I have. County Manager.
Chair Quaylen, members of the board. I just want to make a note of the single point entry over at the courthouse real quick, because that really was a team project. We had Sierra Architect that was working with us, and then obviously the state courts, the sheriff's office. But a big thanks for our building and grounds team, and then the county manager's office with Monica, leading that. It's something that's been needed for a long time, and it's done. And the judges sent a letter of thanks to the county, which we'll share with your board. So it's just nice when something like that can get on the to-do list and then actually culminate with a project that met expectations. So the other one to note is that there is a fire in Clatsop County right now. The end of fire season, I think as of this morning, it was about 100 acres out in the Nob Hill area. Rain is in the forecast, so that will definitely help. But it just is a reminder that it can happen even late in the season. So ODF is a great partner, is out there working on that fire, and we have been in contact with them throughout, and we'll continue to coordinate with them. Just wanted to also mention for the board and the public here where the meetings are going to be a little bit more sporadic. We did cancel the October 15th daytime work session. There was a couple items that carried over to the October 22nd meeting, so now we'll have enough for a full work session on the 22nd. But the November 19th daytime work session has been canceled because of the AOC conference. The November 26th regular board meeting has been canceled because of Thanksgiving. And then we'll go into December, and we'll have one regular board meeting on December 10th. And then that'll be it until the new year. So we'll see what the agendas look like, but there's going to be some compression depending on how many items are required. So, but that's all that I have. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, County Manager. Well, we'll move on to the business agenda. First is the appointment of the Property Value Appeals Board. And that will be Tracy Kravenko, our County Clerk. Welcome, Tracy.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you. What I bring to you tonight is appointment of a single person to our Property Value Appeals Board. Pursuant to ORS 309.067, we must appoint two pools of individuals by October 15th of the year from which I will select members for the Property Value Appeals Board Committee. One pool of members consists of members of the county governing body or the governing body designees, and we have Commissioner Sukua, who has been appointed from last year. He will continue to serve. And then we did applications for the non-office holding residents of the county and had one applicant. That was David Ozer. He has prior Property Value Appeals Board service. And he's been with us for now, I believe, almost 4 or 5 years he's been on the board. And he really seems to enjoy it. And in the packet, you'll see his application. And we prefer to have 3 board members. We are going to continue our call out for appointments of a non-office holding Property Value Appeal Board members. And ORS 309.067 subsection 5 allows for new appointments at any other time upon the request of the county clerk at a regular meeting of the governing body. So I hope to come back to you before we first adjourn, our first adjournment in beginning of February, with another applicant to appoint. But at this point, I just ask that you approve David Ozer again for another year, for a 2-year term, Property Value Appeals Board.
All right, great. Thank you, Tracy. And thank you, Commissioner Wakula, for representing the Western County Board of Commissioners on the board. Do we have any questions? Are we ready for a motion?
I move to approve the appointment of David Ozer as a non-office holding board member of Property Value Appeals Board for the 2-year term beginning October 15th, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2027.
Can I second it since I'm on the board?
You can second it. Yeah.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the appointment of David Ozer as a non-office holding board member of the Property Value Appeals Board for the 2-year term beginning October 15th, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2027. All those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. And we'll get the word out that we still need someone to join the board, so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tracy. Next is the appointment of Planning Commission member and Gail Henriksen, our Community Development Director. Welcome, Gail.
Good evening. Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. We have one open position right now on our Planning Commission with a term that will expire on June 30th, 2026. At the direction of your board, staff issued a recruitment that encouraged applicants from Districts 1 and District 5, simply because we currently do not have any representation from those districts on the Planning Commission. We did have one responsive applicant who was from District 5, and your board spoke with that person, Wayne Carmichael, at your September 24th meeting. Tonight we are here for your board's consideration of formal appointment of Mr. Carmichael to the Planning Commission. And I'm here, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you, Gail. Do we have any questions? Well, enjoyed the opportunity to get to meet Mr. Carmichael at our meeting. He's got a fascinating background as a professor of biological sciences, and I was glad to see that he was so interested in getting involved.
Mm-hmm.
Are we ready for a motion?
I move to appoint Wayne Carmichael to the Planning Commission for a term expiring on June 30th, 2026.
I second that.
Moved and seconded to appoint Wayne Carmichael to the Planning Commission for a term expiring on June 30th, 2026. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Next is ODOT acquisition of county-owned land, and Monica Steele, Assistant County Manager. Welcome, Monica.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. ODOT is proceeding with a curb ramp project to increase ADA accessibility here in Astoria at the intersection of 8th and Commercial Street, so just right over here. As a part of this project specific to Astoria, the ODOT needs to acquire 187 square feet from the county for a permanent easement, and then another 124 square feet for a temporary easement so that they can complete this work. They have completed a determination of just compensation in accordance with federal and state guidelines, and based on the market information, the value of the needed portion from Clatsop County is $3,100. Staff is asking that your board authorize the chair to sign the terms of the state offer and permanent easement, and I'm available for any questions.
Any questions for our Assistant County Manager? Okay, are we ready for a motion?
I move to authorize the chair to sign the terms of the state offer and permanent easement.
A second.
Moved and seconded to authorize the chair to sign the terms of the state offer and permanent easement. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Next, Pacifica Apartments quitclaim deed. Alyssa Gertler, Housing Manager. Welcome.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. Nice to see you. As you recall, in 2022, the county transferred a piece of property called the North 40 to the city of Seaside for an affordable housing project. And in the timeline of affordable housing, we are here 3 years later with great news, which is the project is about to close on its funding and have a groundbreaking in early November.
Fantastic.
You guys should be getting invitations this week.
Okay.
But as part of that, there is a small real estate transaction that the county needs to do, and that is to authorize a quitclaim deed to remove our reversionary clause. And the reversionary clause would say that if the property was no longer used for affordable housing, it would revert back to the county. In order to do the closing of the low-income housing tax credits and the Oregon state funding, we have to remove our reversionary clause. But both the tax credits and the state funding will guarantee that the properties stay in affordable housing usage in perpetuity. So we are not losing that, but we do need to do that for the closing. So I'm asking you to authorize the quitclaim deed for the property.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you, Alyssa. Any questions? Right, are we ready for a motion?
I move to approve the quitclaim deed to relinquish the revisionary interest in the property transferred to the city of Seaside for the Pacifica Apartments Affordable Housing Project.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the quitclaim deed to relinquish the reversionary interest in the property transferred to City of Astoria for the Pacifica Apartments Affordable Housing Project.
Excuse me, you misspoke. You said the city of Astoria, and it's the city of Seaside.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's do it again. Approve the quitclaim deed to relinquish the reversionary interest in the property transferred to the City of Seaside for the Pacifica Apartments Affordable Housing Project. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion carries.
I
Thank
just
you, Commissioner Webb.
Wanted to say
Catching that?
Mayor Wright called to say thank you.
Okay. He's the mayor of Seaside.
He's the mayor of Seaside.
All right, thank you. All right, and this is the item we added to the agenda, 8A, Intergovernmental Grant Agreement, OHCS, Statewide Shelter Program Funding, and Assistant County Manager Monica Steele.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. I appreciate you all amending your agenda tonight to account for this last-minute item. This is something that is a result of House Bill 3644, part of the 2025 legislative session. It's established a legislative framework for a statewide shelter system, and then through its corresponding House Bill 5011 provides the funding for it. Oregon Housing Community Services has provided us with a draft contract. The county has been allocated $1,826,531 to address our community shelter bed needs that were established in the prior biennium. Staff are asking that your board approves the intergovernmental grant agreement so that we can move forward with the contracts with Classic Community Action, Lifeboat Services, Helping Hands, and the Harbor. These shelter providers have been providing the beds even after June 30th when shelter funding has ceased, and so they're really looking forward to being able to recoup some of the costs that they've incurred during this time frame, and they will be able to do so once this contract and the subrecipient contracts are approved. We come before your board tonight, but we'll bring their contracts before your board on October 22nd. The county will retain $127,860, and this is to provide the administrative oversight as the regional coordinator. There's a significant amount of fiscal monitoring that we, as the regional coordinator, are responsible for. So staff is asking that you authorize the county manager to sign the intergovernmental agreement and any amendments between the state and acting through the Oregon Housing and Community Services Department in the amount of $1,826,531. Any questions?
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate your hard work on this and getting this reestablished, and appreciate our nonprofits sustaining that service throughout. Commissioner Banks.
Is it a similar level of oversight and structure as the previous monies?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Awesome.
In fact, there's going to be more.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Good.
Yes.
Any other questions? Commissioner Webb.
Well, I just want to say thank you for your staff report, because I've been trying to look at all of the housing-related, activity that went on in the legislature, and you actually explained it. So, really, thank you. This was, I thought, answered a lot of my questions. I thought it was a great.
Perfect, thanks.
Thank you. And I just also want to say that I think that as chaotic as this legislature was, it's certainly, I don't know whose leadership it was, that got so much done related to affordable housing and to homelessness. So I feel real good about where we're going here. And I think that finally the administrative percent is consistent with the level of effort. We don't get that very often. And so thanks.
It was the chair's leadership. No.
I'm sure it was.
All right. Do we have any other questions? Are we ready for a motion?
I move to authorize the county manager to sign the intergovernmental grant agreement and any amendments between the state of Oregon acting by and through its Housing Community Services Department in the amount of $1,826,531.
Second?
Moved and seconded to authorize the county manager to sign the intergovernmental grant agreement and any amendments between the state of Oregon acting by and through its Housing and Community Services Department in the amount of $1,826,531. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. All right, we'll move on to our public hearings this evening. First is ordinance 25-03, Goal 16 exception, dredge disposal sites and conservation and other resources, and AC-2 zone. This is on page 93 of our agenda. And this is the continuation of a public hearing on ordinance number 25-03. County Council, may we have the second reading by title only?
This is ordinance number 25-03 in the matter of an ordinance approving an exception to statewide planning goal 16, estuarine resources, to allow in-water disposal of dredged materials at 4 sites designated conservation, other resources, and zoned aquatic conservation 2.
Thank you, County Council. All right, do we have any additional information?
Staff does not, but I did want to let your board know that the applicants are here this evening, and I believe that they have a few statements they would like to make when their
Okay.
turn comes.
Sure, if you'd like to come up to be a panelist here. Welcome.
Thank you.
And if you don't mind stating your name and address for the record.
Hi, good evening, and thank you, Commissioners. For the record, my name is Tom Bullion. I'm a planning manager with the Port of Portland, representing the applicant. My address is Box 3529, Portland, Oregon, 97208. I had a chance to speak to several of you last month, and we appreciate your time and continued consideration of the applications before you. The Port of Portland also greatly appreciates the time spent by the Planning Commission to evaluate the applications, and in particular, the huge amount of time and effort that Director Henriksen and her staff have invested to review the applications and prepare the staff reports. So really, I'll keep it brief, but in summary, the Port of Portland agrees with staff's conclusion that the applications demonstrate compliance with the county code and comprehensive plan, and the Port of Portland fully endorses the conditions of approval recommended by staff. And also noting that the conditions were recommended by the Planning Commission as well. Maintaining the safe navigation of federal navigation is important for both Clatsop County and the state of Oregon as a whole. So we request that the Board of Commissioners vote to approve the applications. And so with that, I or other members of our team, we have a few folks online, would be happy to try to answer any questions that you might have. So thank you.
Thank you. Do we have
And-
any questions at this time, or are we ready to move forward? I'm sorry, did you have
And
something
just,
else you would like to add?
just one other point, rather than repeat myself, these comments are really intended to apply to each of the 4 ordinances before you this evening, so
Okay.
03, 04, 05, and 06.
Okay,
So
great.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the public hearing. Clerk of the Board, are there any members of the public signed up to speak remotely?
No, there are not.
All right, are there any members of the public signed up to speak in person?
No, there are not.
All right, then we'll go ahead and close the public hearing on 25-03. Do we have any discussion? Okay, are we ready for a motion?
I move to adopt ordinance 2503 as presented, including all conditions of approval listed in the staff report dated August 12th, 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 25-03 as presented, including all conditions of approval listed in the staff report dated August 12th, 2025. All those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. We'll move on to ordinance 25-04, Goal 16 exception, dredge disposal sites in areas designated natural and aquatic natural AN zones. And this is on page 110 of the agenda. This is a continuation of a public hearing on ordinance 25-04. County Council, may we have the second reading by title only?
This is ordinance number 25-04 in the matter of an ordinance approving an exception to statewide planning goal 16, estuarine resources to allow in-water disposal of dredge materials at 6 sites designated natural and zoned aquatic natural.
Thank you, County Council. And Gail Henriksen, Community Development Director, do we have any additional information?
No, we do not. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the public hearing. Clerk of the Board, are there any members of the public signed up to speak remotely?
No, there are not.
Are there any members of the public signed up to speak in person?
No, there are not.
All right, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Do we have any discussion or motion? Are we ready for a motion? Okay.
I move to adopt ordinance 2504 as presented, including all conditions of approval listed in the staff report dated August 12th, 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 25-04 as presented, including all conditions of approval listed in the staff report dated August 12th, 2025. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next is ordinance 25-05, dredge material disposal sites text amendments, page 128. This is the continuation of a public hearing on ordinance 25-05. County Council, may we have the second reading by title only?
This is ordinance number 25-05 in the matter of an ordinance adopting amendments to Article 1, introductory provisions, Article 4, zone regulations, Article 5, special districts, and Article 6, environmental and resource protection of the Land and Water Development and Use Code that address dredging, material disposal in areas designated conservation, other resources, and natural.
Thank you, County Council. Community Development Director, do we have any additional information?
No additional information.
All right, we'll move on to the public hearing. Clerk of the Board, or are there any members of the public signed up to speak remotely?
No, there are not.
All right, are there any members of the public signed up to speak in person?
No, there are not.
We'll go ahead and close the public hearing on 25-05. Do we have discussion, or are we ready for a motion?
I move to adopt ordinance 2505 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 25-05 as presented. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. We'll move on to ordinance 25-06, dredge material disposal site reservation overlay, DMD map amendments on page 146. This is the continuation of public hearing on ordinance 25-06. County Council, may we have the second reading by title only?
This is ordinance number 25-06 in the matter of an ordinance amending the dredged material disposal site reservation overlay district map to add 18 new sites.
Thank you, County Council. Community Development Director, do we have any additional information?
No, we do not.
Clerk of the Board, are there any members of the public signed up to speak remotely?
No, there are not.
All right, are there any members of the public signed up to speak in person?
No, there are not.
All right, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing on ordinance 25-06. Are we ready for a motion?
I move to adopt ordinance 25-06 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 25-06 as presented. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gail. And thank you very much. Thanks for being here this evening. Next is ordinance 25-09, updates to Goal 18, Beaches and Dunes, page 152. This is the continuation of a public hearing on ordinance 25-09. County Council, may we have the second reading by title only?
This is ordinance number 25-09 in the matter of an ordinance repealing and replacing Clatsop County Comprehensive Plan Goal 18, Beaches and Dunes, amending Law Doc Article 5, Special Purpose Districts, and adopting the Beach and Dune Overlay, Active Dune Overlay, Construction Setback Line, Dune Morphology, and Shoreline Access Inventory Maps.
Thank you, County Council. And David Cook, our planning manager, do we have any additional information?
No additional information, Chair.
Okay, thank you, David. And we'll move on to the public hearing. Clerk of the Board, are there any members of the public signed up to speak remotely?
No, there are not.
Clerk of the Board, are there any members of the public signed up to speak in person?
No, there are not.
We will go ahead and close the public hearing on ordinance 25-09. Any discussion, or are we ready for a motion?
Move to adopt ordinance 25-09 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 25-09 as presented. All those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, David. All right, do we have anything for the good of the order? Not seeing any, we'll go ahead and adjourn. Thank you, everybody.